This shed had no real toilet, no proper insulation, no adequate heating, and yet it was being rented out to a family, let alone this building had no real proper planning permission, and we know that everything that was installed here was illegal. Now, the neighbours were the people who alerted the authorities about this place, and now Waltham Forest Council have decided to take drastic action.
This is a direct result of our landlord licensing scheme. When we first inspected the property, we found 16 people living here, including children. We worked with the landlord trying to ask him to bring the property up to standard. As he didn't do this, we were able to issue an interim management order. As he still didn't comply with the legislation, we opted for a final management order, which means that the tenants who are living here will be paying their rent directly to the council rather than to the landlord, and we have used that money to bring the property up to standard using our own trusted traders and our own service store team. And this was actually our first IMO and has been one of the worst conditions that I've ever seen in private rented sector in our borough.
Now, unfortunately, this isn't a one-off. We have seen similar situations in buildings across the capital. Just last month, a property in Newham was found by the council. In it, it was a 3-bedroom property being let to a family for around £700 a month, despite the fact that it had missing ceiling, rotten floor tiles and exposed wiring. This just goes to prove that it is a London-wide issue rather than just here in Waltham Forest.
We see this across London, we see this across the UK. Obviously in London, where property values are that much greater, there is even more drive by greedy landlords to get maximum value out of every square inch of property and every square inch of garden. And that's why we need to be really determined to work not just here in Waltham Forest, but with our neighbours as well, to make sure that we're all aware of the landlords who are profiting and who are putting people's lives at risk for profit. If we had more social housing, then we would be able to house families, particularly more vulnerable families, in council-controlled and owned accommodation, and we can control and keep the rents low. And obviously that's the ideal situation that we would be in, but the government makes it really difficult for us to do the things that our residents really want us to do, which is invest in council housing.
There are 2.4 million people that rent in the capital, and if you're one of those that want to check out the legitimacy of your own landlord or agency, you can do so by checking out the London Assembly's online database. All 33 boroughs are now taking part, and if you have any suspicion of a rogue landlord yourself renting from or around you, there is a report a rogue function on that website which they're encouraging everybody to use.